Rebuilding the books. This is one of my favorite projects because it provides a lot of value in a short, intense amount of time. It's one of my favorite kind of work to do, and it's also not too common in terms of services provided. Like for instance, accounting firms do offer this, but it's pretty pricey because I mean they're professional CPA firms. I'm a freelance bookkeeper. I don't have a CPA license, and I don't charge as much as they do. So this is right up my alley. This is my bread and butter. Let me share with you how I go about it. So why rebuild the books to begin with? First of all, the most obvious reason to do it is there are no books. It's not even a matter of rebuilding. You have to build the books. Too many errors. Maybe you won't. There are situations where it doesn't take an accounting genius to realize there's too many errors, and it's not even worth it to clean up the books. It's You might as well just redo the whole darn thing. Three, unreliable bookkeeper. It's a matter of character and a character issue, a trust issue with the in-house accounting person, and most likely that person has been already terminated. And sometimes it goes as far as an investigation into um, embezzlement and fraud, which I've seen every now and then. Financials look off, especially the net income figure. That's a key tell that rebuilding the books may be in order. Or sometimes you just need a second professional opinion. I mean, just to see what an outsider like myself, someone who's not too familiar with the business, but just simply very objective accounting information and to provide financials for a period of time and to compare and contrast. Uh, and that along with that line of thinking, sometimes the tax professional or the auditor may recommend rebuilding the books from scratch. This is not a huge reason, but it definitely helps rebuilding the books, meaning that a small business with not too many transactions is a good situation to rebuild the whole books um, just to compare and see where you get. For me, a small group of transactions means either less than 100 total bank and credit card transactions per month or 1,000 total transactions to rebuild. That's really not that much. Items needed. The saying goes, I just made the saying as I was preparing this deck. Don't start cooking unless you have all the ingredients. I will not start doing this work unless I have everything, or at least the most important things. The most important thing being this: one, bank and credit card, both monthly statements for the period of time that we're working on, and also the same transactions put into a CSV file, a comma separated file, basically transactions downloaded into CSV. I won't use the other formats. I'm only going to use CSV formats. Payroll journals. Obviously, if you have payroll, I need to have access to those payroll journals for each payroll. Revenue data, if any, such as invoices, bills sent to clients of the business, point of sales reports, if this is a kind of a business that deals with, point of sales, and also prior year financials and or tax returns. I need this because I need the balance sheet to start off. I need a start off point for that month or that year, that quarter, whatever it is. If there are no financial statements, then I'll go ahead and use the tax returns, the most recent ones. A note here, I don't need QuickBooks because obviously if I'm going to use the QuickBooks from the business, then it's already tainted, so to say. We have to start off fresh. And so I'm a QuickBooks online wholesaler. So we have clean ones ready to go. So there you have it. A note on collecting items. This is just from my personal experience. Small business owners are not the most detailed. They don't have the most time. Time is a luxury for small business owners. Requesting items like these from the client often takes too long and or not everything is there. This happens more often than not. Then I realize I should have done it the right way. The right way is this. Instead, set a time with the client. Usually just takes about 20 minutes. on a video conference such as Zoom, and as as you as you request them to share their screen and they can log on to their business banking and other things, credit cards, payroll, point of sales dashboard, so on, I can take over. Zoom has the remote control feature. I can take over their screen. They can see me set myself up as a view only administrator. Um, Almost all bank accounts, credit cards, especially if they're business accounts, most likely if they're business accounts, payroll and sort of, there's this feature that's either view only or authorized user as Chase uses. And it's important. It's really reassuring to for the client, for the business owner to see what I'm doing and that I don't have any access to pay things, pay bills, send wires, anything like that. I just want view only access to download things. And this is great because that way I can use my own login that I've set up for myself to download everything that I need on my own timeline. It saves time and frustration. There's always zero frustration on both sides doing it this way. Let's rebuild. First of all, I want you to think that our goal is to upload the CSV, not connecting to the bank on QuickBooks Online. So you'll come across this screen where it gives you two choices. One is to upload your own info from the bank as a CSV file upload, or securely connect to your bank. Don't do the connect to your bank. There's more often than not, there's some technical issues, especially if you're using an authorized user login from Chase. And also, even if it does work, sometimes it doesn't go all the way back because let's say you need to catch up this entire year and it's October, it's November, it's December. It doesn't go as far back as you want it. So it's better to just upload your CSV file on your own. And also, there's some finessing that you can do before you upload it, so that can help as well. Speaking of finessing, let's prep the CSV file for upload into QuickBooks Online. And when we do this, we want to make sure that you separate the positive and negative numbers, not selecting the one column that has both positive and negative numbers. QuickBooks has a hard time with this. So it's just a technical thing that I realized, or it's just my experience, it's better to separate those columns. So the columns that we want to prepare is just four things: the date, the memo, debit, and credit. That's it, nothing else. Fill in the check info. This is usually the most time consuming when it comes to business bank accounts, especially if the business writes a lot of checks. In that memo section, you want to fill in the payee name and then the check number, because it's much easier once you upload it and you're filtering things out. It's much easier to post things by the payee name as opposed to starting off with the check number. QuickBooks Online caps the file upload 1,000 lines max per upload file. So if it's more than 1,000, you got a lot of work ahead of yourself. And also you will need to separate those files by 1,000. Save the CSV file with the new name. Sometimes QuickBooks Online has a hard time uploading the file that you just saved from the bank download. So what I do is just add a letter or number at the end of the file and just save it as a new file completely. Then it has a much easier time to upload that. Upload away and get to work. Posting transactions. So within QuickBooks Online, banking, then for review, this is a screen that you're going to be working on. This is home, so to say. This is where you're going to be spending a lot of your time. So get your coffee ready. The name of the game here is posting in batches, from the easiest to recognize to the most difficult. First one should be the credits. Credits should be mostly, if not all, revenue. Revenue recognition and the categorization of revenues, you can do that later. Most common vendors. Start with most common vendors and sort it by description, the memo, and it's a matter of just posting away by batches. Payroll can go into a payroll suspense. You don't have to spend so much time on the for review screen to divvy up payroll there. It's not the most ideal space to post those things anyways. So you can set up a payroll suspense account in the balance sheet and to post your payroll journal entries later when you're ready. Too many small transactions, post them onto one suspense account in the balance sheet. I'll explain that in the next slide right here. So this is once again, in my experience, this is the best way to do it, especially with a small business. There's just, either in the bank account or a credit card, there's just a lot of small transactions, and I guess it's not the limit to small business. It's maybe to any business. But if there are too many small transactions, meaning that if it's less than $50 or less than $100, depending on the size of the business, to post individually, create a suspense account in the balance sheet as a bucket to all these small transactions. It's much better to deal with this as a batch than posting Uber and Lyfts and Starbucks and Google AdWords and any kind of software subscription, QuickBooks Online subscription, whatever it is. And here are such common small transactions: travel, meals, auto-related, office supplies, cost of goods sold, services sold, marketing, so on and so forth. And what I do is I create an estimate breakdown by percentage. I have all the categories, and I have just a reasonable percentage breakdown. And I run this by the business owner, the tax professional. 9 times out of 10, something like this makes total sense. So if there is, let's just say there's $1,000 in the small transaction suspense account, the journal entry to clear out the suspense account, remember, suspense accounts always need to be cleared out. This would be that journal entry, because I'm just applying the percentages from the left onto the right. And let's say it's $1,000 for a certain month. And I do this over and over for each month, whatever that balance is for that month. That balance can change each month, so I would have to change the small transaction suspense balance figure and just apply these percentages until I get to the current month. Let's bring this to a nice landing. Post payroll for each month, right, or each payroll, however is necessary. Reconcile bank and credit card statements for each month. Review the financials, see if there's anything obviously erroneous. And also, this might be a good time to do some revenue recognition and categorization of revenue if necessary. Confer with the business owner, the tax professional, and also if there's an in-house accounting/finance head. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Drop me a line if you have any questions. This is the type of work I enjoy doing. And yeah, I'm all ears if you have any questions or concerns. Here's my info. Thank you for watching. Cheers.